learners, welcome to this session. Today we will be discussing about profiling offenders. How will you as a commoner understand that this person is a trafficker, this person has violated the law? For sexual exploitation, if you have to profile these traffickers, then you can see them very active on the social platform, trying to give you lucrative offers. They will behave as if they are God living creatures on this earth. Somebody who is too good, somebody who has come from the world of fantasy. So we all have been brought up listening stories from our dadis and nanis. So somebody, a royal character from the stars have come to help or rescue us. They are very regular in their business and they talk about your vulnerability in a planned way. They are very smart people, so they make use of your vulnerability and exploit you. So if you find a person who is very good to you on the social platform, please do not accept his invite so that you are not vulnerable. Friend requests from an unknown person should never be entertained. While playing on online games, the children should also be cautioned not to interact with strangers, because a stranger can be anybody. Anybody who gives you a lucrative offer, please do not go by his words and check his credentials. Any behavior which is not normal, which is not done by your own family members, do not pray. If you want to just take a lion, then in front of the lion you put a goat or a lamb. So human beings should not behave that way. God has given us mind, so we should act diligently and not let others make use of our vulnerability. For child exploitation, somebody who knows me, somebody who promises me or my parents to give me a better life, somebody who gives money to my family or my parents, somebody who is making unrealistic promises, somebody who is too good to mistrust. Whatever he says, we just believe him. So just be cautious about these people. Sometimes you think that this person is next to God. Whenever in terms of any help, that person is always there to help. Nothing is free in this world and nobody comes to help every time for free. So remember these two things. If anybody is doing something for you out of the world, that is not normal and it can have some serious repercussions. So be aware. Money lenders or people who have control over you can also exploit your children. So be very cautious. Always take loan from the banks, from the nationalized banks, and not from the money lenders. This is why I say that everybody should have an identity card in India. All people who are vulnerable should have Aadhaar cards so that the public distribution system reaches them on time. For pornography, use of social platform, it is very common, that people use social platform, people use the public spaces, the washrooms, the hotels, the changing rooms. Abuse of technology is there, so you have to be cautious. Somebody who is violating your privacy rights, irrespective of what wrong you do, Just accept it as a normal thing to happen and report it. Somebody who is blackmailing or violates your dignity rights. We were very good friends, and then one of my friends started sharing and blackmailing me for my videos. I have to be cautious at this moment and not let him go further, because this time if I stop, it will be a never ending process. So immediately that should be reported. So people can be your friends, can be your relatives, can be your near and dear ones, can be somebody on the social platform, can be somebody who knows your vulnerability, can be somebody who is very close to you as your friend. But if any time you think your sixth sense says that he is violating your privacy rights, then do be cautious and move away from the person. Report that incident to your family members and to the police officers. For labor, money lender will exploit you. So any money lender who is a private person can exploit you, so he can be a trafficker. Be very careful. I have given you instances where people give loans and for generations people try to repay that loan, but the records are never shared by the person who has taken loan. Secondly, we are not financially trained, we are illiterate, uneducated people. So we do not have the finance knowledge of understanding the principal amount, the interest amount, the paid amount and the balance amount. Relatives and families can also use your vulnerability. If somebody knows about your hardship and vulnerability, then that person can force you, lure you, or convince you, coerce you to go for labor trafficking. Owners of the factory and industry who want to earn profits out of other person's violation of rights or the violation of labor laws is a profile which needs to be taken care by the stakeholders, by the labor officers and by the beat police officers and the police station. Commoners who violate other rights to earn profit can also use your vulnerability. It can be for domestic help, it can be for working in agricultural field, it can be for a factory for a hazardous employment or anything, so be careful. For trans-border crime, people working in foreign countries when come back to their country show that they are living a very decent life with so much of goodness. So never trust people if they are talking out of unproportional realistics. So if somebody gives you a very good picture of his life, do think that it can be wrong also, and maybe you are a person who can be trafficked by that person. People who are techno savvy can use technology and sitting at a place can exploit your vulnerability. So you don't have to move these days. I know that these people are vulnerable in this area. I can contact the local people there, or by Facebook and by other social platforms I contact the person, or by online gaming sites I contact the person and use him for my purposes. So you don't have to even cross the borders. You don't have to have some local connection. You can work with a networking team. People who can cross the borders illegally, somebody who is telling you that something can happen illegally, should not be trusted. So if he can break one law, he can also violate your rights, he can also violate the labor laws, and he can be a person who is a trafficker. So be very clear about this concept, that whatever you earn should be legal. If somebody is giving you an option to work or to cross the borders illegally, then do not follow his advice and instruction and report it to the police people, so that you are saved and other people are also not trapped by the person. For drugs, you know, you have peddlers, you have friends and relatives, you have madams and pimps. So for drugs also you can understand the trafficker, because you know somebody who has these things will also try to lure you to attract you into drugs. Maybe your friends will tell you that it is so relaxing, it is so peaceful to have this. And then when you develop the habit, you are abused. The madam, the pimps, or the factory owners who exploit the vulnerability of these people also use drugs to their advantage, to lower the voice when violence is there, to make you understand that you have no better choices than to accept their orders, to work after being drugged for more hours, to perform in sexual activities after being drugged for a longer period of time, to get pleasure out of your pain. So you can be drugged during source, transit and destination, so that you know when you are traveling, nobody else in the surrounding understands that you are somebody who is vulnerable. Middlemen and people who abuse you are traffickers, and they can drug you. So anybody who gives you a lucrative offer, who tells you something which is not practically possible, out of worse situation, I will make you rich in a month. You want this house, you want this lifestyle, just come with me, I will give you this. You want a better future for your children, just give your child to me. You want your child to be married without any expense. Yes, I am there to help you out. I have prospective grooms. So just send your daughter with me. So these are the people who drug people and abuse their vulnerability. For organs, you can see middlemen. In the hospital, if you require an organ, then you will find a person who will be able to speak in your language and convince you for getting that organ from him. Somebody who knows the vulnerability of the person who needs the organ and the person who wants something, or he is not able to sustain his family, so he is ready to give or part away with his organ. Well-dressed people with great contacts in hospital and government functionaries are sometimes traffickers. So you have to understand, if somebody is offering you something, then do be cautious, because you know you want to change your life, but maybe you will not be able to protect your life to change it. In organ donation cases, if post-operative care is not there, then people do not survive sometimes. Sometimes they face serious kinds of ailments for life. And you know you are so vulnerable that you cannot afford the medical expenditure. You cannot sit at home for 6 to 7 months without work and sustain your family members. So while giving organs, you have to be very careful about the law and go for proper procedures as per the law. Even the people who are taking somebody's organ needs to respect their dignity rights, their human rights, their constitutional rights and their statute rights. For begging, people who have gangs work in these areas. Habitual offenders, somebody who is working as house help, because we have seen small children taken away by the house help people on the streets for begging. Somebody who knows you or your family members, somebody from your surroundings can kidnap or help in your kidnapping or abduction. Somebody who can use your vulnerability can be traced as an offender. For servitude, family, middlemen, the loan giver, somebody who has land, somebody who has your control can keep you in servitude. For beggar, somebody who can control you, who can abuse your vulnerability. So you will be working for hours without payment. You will be working in factories or hazardous places without payment. You will be working in home without payment. So you will have all your labor rights violated in the name of beggar. For sex tourism, people on social platform can see you and decide, yes, I want to purchase this person. Family members can also sell and purchase. Sometimes you need somebody for a week, for 2 days holidays, for a month holiday, for a family vacation, for a business tour, for an international tour. Then those people who provide or are the service providers are the traffickers. People handling websites which sell and purchase human beings for sex tourism are the traffickers. Somebody who knows about your vulnerability can abuse your vulnerability, can be understood, because he will try to exploit you, he will try to lure you, he will try to force you to accept to whatever he says. Sometimes before marriage, if the marriages are fixed, then prospective groom or partner can also become a trafficker or an abuser of your rights and dignity rights. Family and relatives. There are cases where if your son is going to get married, then I make a contract with you that whatever baby your son's wife delivers will be mine. So somebody who is controlling you can ask for surrogacy or marriage. You were not able to repay my loan, so now you get your daughter married to me or to somebody who is known to me. So somebody who can use your vulnerability can be a person who is a trafficker. Somebody who is already there in this business, somebody who is already abused, who has suffered trauma, torture, and now is working for them, knowing that they cannot come out of that captivity, can tell you that yes, we have very good life because they need customers. They have to take you as a customer, and the lady who has been abused by these people is forced to convince you about her good life so that you fall prey, and then they exploit your vulnerability. So you can profile the offenders as per their purposes. Do not trust people on social platforms. Never give your password, your credentials, your details on social platforms. Never share your pictures or your family pictures or videos, because somebody who is involved in organized crime can use that picture, that video, and show it to the prospective clients or people who are criminals, and then your vulnerability will give them a chance to exploit you. So, if I work in close groups, if I do not share my family details, then there are chances that these traffickers who surf net and get the details of prospective vulnerable people will not get the details. Secondly, if I am vigilant about my surroundings, then I can understand that this is not a trustworthy person. I need to be educated, I need to be aware about the legal provisions, the Constitution of India, the human rights documents, the covenants, and other laws related to my dignity and worth, so that I am not a prey for these traffickers. In the end, I would just like to say that stay safe, stay protected, and stay aware about your surroundings, because if you are not aware about your surroundings, then you will not be able to protect yourself and your family members. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Thank you.